over 90% of people who are viewing our videos haven't subscribed. So would you please just hit that subscribe button? It makes such a big difference to us. If you'd like, follow, share as well, it really helps get our message out there. Thank you. All right, I'm here with one of the internet superstars. Well, he is in my eyes anyway, and I'm sure what he's going to talk about now is going to help you build your online business using Groove and maybe using other things as well. But Martin Boedekker is here with me on the podcast. Martin, so pleased to have you here because I know what you're going to share is going to be pure gold. So if you just want to, for those of you, I mean, there might be one or two people who don't know all about you, Martin. So if you could explain who you are, where you've come from, and where you're at right now, that would be brilliant. So over to you, Martin.
Okay, it's really hard to decide where to start. My history with Mike Alpha Same goes back to 2015 when I bought one of the affiliate programs that he promoted. That was when he just started Webinar Jam. And yeah, since then I've hosted a huge virtual summit interviewing some of the greats of online marketing, like Perry Marshall, Mike Koenigs, Jim Edwards, Mike Felsame, obviously, AJ Roberts, who now runs Kartra, and John Lee Dumas, and a lot of like other really amazing entrepreneurs. And then after the summit, I basically then I decided to promote Kartra, which was Mike's former company, and then they launched Groove, and now I've built two six-figure businesses using Groove. First as an affiliate, promoting Groove, mainly using free traffic strategies, and now I've pivoted to sell my own software and courses using Groove. So that's my second six-figure business.
Fantastic stuff. And Martin, where are you based? You're Europe based, aren't you?
I'm based in Germany, in the middle of Germany, like in the the smallest Großstadt, so the biggest metropole, so the smallest metropole in Germany with a little bit more than 100,000 inhabitants, which is called Paderborn, and like home of the biggest computer museum in the world, because we used to have like a big computer company, Nixdorf, here in Paderborn, which was yeah, really big in the 80s. Yeah, that's one of the reasons why we have an airport here and things like this.
Hold on. So are you saying that you got interested in computers because your kind of town is surrounded in computer history?
Yeah, definitely some parts, like if you do some history, and if you just walk around in the museum and you see all the things like from the Turing machine and the chess, like this chess machine, like this ancient chess machine where somebody was actually hidden inside a fake robot to play chess, and they just used this, and then like now we're entering the age of artificial intelligence, something where I'm really involved in. Like, yeah, that definitely still gets me inspired, and also the founder who cared a lot about like good working conditions. I started my own software company, Find Focus, at some point, which unfortunately did not work out, even though it was a great product. But all of this got me into online marketing, and there's a huge journey that already yeah, lies behind me.
Okay, so you say that you kind of met up with Mike back at an event and you got involved in it. What was it that made you think, I need to take action, I need to do something? What was it that intrigued you?
It's really simple. Like, it was an affiliate product. It was High Performance Academy from Brendon Burchard. I did not care about the product High Performance Academy. It was only because of the bonus that Mike did with his former business partner Andy Jenkins. And the bonus was essentially, if you buy this $1,000 product, you get a full year of coaching with Mike and Andy. And it was simply the best investment I've ever made, the best offer I ever made, because at that point Mike was charging just for consulting already like $25,000 for a day of consulting. And essentially he did this for free, because when he shared the math, like they were doing an affiliate launch just to support Brandon back then, and so they made something like 50% affiliate commission, and then he had to split this with Andy, and then after taxes, so maybe he netted for a whole year of coaching something like a little bit more than $100. So it was the most incredible deal and bonus ever. So I just bought this because of this amazing bonus that he offered as an affiliate, which is a great role model for successful, for being on top of like some affiliate launches that you want to participate in. But it was really this bonus. And then during the coaching calls, at some point Mike split up with Andy, and it was also the time when my software company failed, and I was really in a bad time. So Mike and me bonded back then, because yeah, he had to separate, he had to leave Kartra and Genesis Digital, and I had to stop working with my business partner. So basically at the end of the year, the whole coaching was in vain, because I was not working on the project anymore that we got the coaching from. And then I just kept in touch with Mike loosely over the years. And when Groove launched, like I was also one of the biggest affiliates using free traffic strategies. I knew the history of Kartra, I knew the potential of Groove, and this really, with the launch of Groove, I finally had my big breakthrough after a lot of failures.
Okay, so you stuck at it. You could see that there was a success around the corner. You just needed to know the correct steps to take. Is that kind of it?
Definitely a lot of like figuring out a lot of things that did not work. And one thing that I've learned, and that I'm always telling my students, that there's always a lot of nuance to every business model out there. For example, Groove promotes a lot of different webinars with different business models, but you have to know in which situations a certain business model makes sense. So for example, the strategy that I teach for like scalable organic marketing, or free Facebook ads as I call it, like it's a great a strategy for selling high ticket programs, for selling high ticket affiliate programs, for selling coaching and consultancy, but not for selling like, I do not know, $5 max or something like this, because you will not be able to make the math work.
Okay, right. So you're how many years have you been involved in sort of doing this and sort of getting out there, getting your hands dirty, trying things, setting things up, maybe not succeeding, maybe failing? You've been doing it a while though now, haven't you?
Yeah, I'm 38 now, or 39 even. Like I turned 39 like 1 month ago, so getting close to 40. And I think I started like in my 20s, like when I was studying. I became a professional online poker player. And then
Oh,
when I decided, or I noticed I was not winning anymore, like I was basically playing break even though I played a lot, I decided to quit. And then I invested, the last winnings that I had from poker into my first online program from Eben Pagan. And this then did not go anywhere. I started my first SEO based website back then, but basically was only able to pay for my hosting fees, like something like 20 euros per month. And it never, even though I got a couple of thousand visitors. And then at some point I decided to go back to work, finish my studies, work as an engineer. And but I still like kept during this time I bought more courses, and then at some point I teamed up with a developer in England, in the UK, who created a focus software. This is also, and then I split it up with that guy, with John at some point, started my own software company, which failed. And then the whole Groove story followed.
wow. Okay. So for anyone that's out there thinking, oh my goodness, that sounds like an awful lot. There's a lot of history there. I'm not surprised he's successful. He's been doing it so long. I guess what you can reassure people is, okay, if you follow a better system than maybe you did, then they can cut out an awful lot of that failure and time spent on things that weren't, you were discovering things rather than being super focused. So I'm going to come around to a question. On another podcast episode, I talked to David Lemon, who is a good friend of yours, I believe, Martin. And I said, okay, what question would you ask Martin? So I like to get someone to ask a question of another guest that comes on. And he said, okay, Martin has an awful lot of experience, a lot of knowledge. If you were a complete newbie, what would be a good basic affiliate strategy that you should be doing right now? So it's almost like, Martin, if you could go back and talk to yourself all those years ago, what would be the sort of basic affiliate strategy that you would be explaining to them and saying, just do this? So what would it be?
And even to this simple question, there's a lot of nuance because it really depends on different factors. For example, like what do you really like doing? Like, are you more like a writer? Do you like writing? Do you like building funnels? Do you like to be on video? And because affiliate marketing requires and there's always waves or like things that are hot in the market, and it really depends on if you really want to make short-term money, because every product, every affiliate product usually has some thought of lifespan, or when it's really hot, especially if we are looking at like right now as we're recording this, we are just Groove AI launched internally. There will be a huge launch later to the public, which is like if you would focus on this, and like right now, if you're asking me, like I would go all in on this launch, because I think they have an amazing business model and a strategic advantage with Groove AI. Like there you can literally almost do nothing wrong. Like you can be successful with SEO, you can be successful with creating YouTube videos. If you already have you can be successful with simply letting people know about this tool and make whatever, like probably a couple of $100 in affiliate commissions just from selling the software once. But that's probably not the sustainable business model, because it will be just one-off purchases. But so is an affiliate, like one question that I want to give everyone who's listening to this podcast or watching this, I do not know where you publish it, is like what's your unique selling proposition? Like what's your advantage? Because we all need some kind of specific advantage. Maybe you have like some connections to, or you're really connected to a lot of people inside a certain industry or something. Like you need to figure out like where is a point of leverage that you can use. It can be either like some expertise. Maybe you if you're starting, like currently a short form video and TikTok is really hot, so we can take advantage of the algorithms there. So if you create a lot of content on short form TikTok, you will have a faster growth. If you focus on SEO, like you want to probably lean more to longer term projects, like for example, like I will be putting more effort into SEO, trying to get my Groove funnels reviews ranking again. I ranked on top of Google, but then I neglected when I pivoted to my own program. So it really depends on what you're good at and what's your long-term plan, because you need to have a a strategy that makes that aligns with what you want to do, because no matter what strategy you align, you will hit roadblocks and things will go wrong. And it just takes a lot of time and effort. So it's a mixture of what's hot, what's your long-term strategy, what do you like doing, and because in the end, I think I've mentioned this, like every strategy works, but it has to make sense. Like it's different. Like if your goal is to maybe make an extra few $100s, few $1,000s per month, how much time do you have to put into starting this business, because the reality is like it's a competitive marketplace, and the online marketing industry is probably the most competitive marketplace, because things are evolving at lightning speed, especially now with AI. And you really have to have a solid plan. And in the end, it's also like one thing that I always advertise, or I always tell my students, like, you need to look for leverage points. Like in the pre chat, you talked about you working with Paul or Mahoney, and that's why you are like built your customer base with Groove. So, and I spent a lot of time helping Mike Filsheim for free, even with the launch of Groove AI. I gave him a lot of advice about the launch, and I shared ideas with him, and he even praised me publicly during the last Grooveathon, like, thank you for the advice. And he even like slightly modified his strategy for the launch, positioning Groove AI slightly different. So I'm spending a lot of time working for free for Mike Filsheim. So, and in return, like, I got featured 2 times on Groove Digital Presents, and that was responsible for 90% of the money that I've made with my own program. So it really depends on what you want to optimize for. So sorry for the long answer, but I think there's no magic bullet. Like, it always depends on your personal situation.
Yeah, and Martin, I mean, you say there's no magic bullet, but there's a lot of wasted bullets that people will do if they don't follow some of the things there. So what I'm hearing you say is, okay, there's two time horizons that you need to look at here, folks. So if you're listening to this, Martin's saying that there's 2 things you can do. You can ride the wave of a really hot topic. And at the moment, it's Groove AI, or, the Chat GPT. So you'll see every influencer talking about their way of interpreting it, capturing it, using it, etc. We know that that's going to dip off. It's going to slide away, and it will just be then constant in the background. But at the moment, a huge hot topic. So that's one thing you can do. Look for the hottest topic and go for it. The other is the longer term. So what you need is, you either need to be getting a new hot topic. Imagine you're on a surfboard and you're on a wave. That wave is going to reach the shore, and it's pretty hard then surfing on the sand. So you've got to get back out there and find the next wave. Or you can just paddle out into the ocean, stand on your surfboard and say, I've got the entire ocean. I'm here for the long term. I can pick a wave whenever I want, etc., etc. So you pick your hot topics. They're the latest wave that's going crashing into the shore. You can get on it, enjoy the ride, but you're going to have to go back out and get something else. So I love that. I love that, Martin. I love the fact that you
And
said,
one thing
yeah,
about if you're trying to catch different waves, or like build a more sustainable business, or maybe you do not know what the next wave is, then it's really important that you build consistent processes to put out content, to build a constant flow of getting new leads into your system. And if you're just starting out, one of the things that also Russell Brunson and everyone advises is really publish a lot of content, finding your voice through publishing content. Like I found, for example, when I recently started sending out a lot more newsletters, also with the help of AI, that I became much more confident just by sharing. Like, even if it was not a sales letter, or if the call to action was simply, join my Groove Funnels unofficial group, or try out this free software lead magnet, or give me feedback, or join my live weekly coaching sessions where I talk about all these topics more in depth. Then it's about building these solid processes, and then just there's for me, there's always 2 things that you need to focus on. Like, one is really identifying points where you have leverage, and the other one is really building this compound effect, doing something long enough, because each email subscriber that you add to your list, if you write and continue publishing content, maybe they will not buy in the first month, maybe not even in the first year, but maybe after 3 years, after you've built a relationship, they're still opening your email, you come across something that they want, and then they buy your product or an affiliate product that you promote. But for this, you need to have this constant content publishing process and really get good at this process, becoming efficient. I think that's really important for the long term, and that's something that I see that every successful business owners in this space has, like whether they are focused on YouTube or SEO or Facebook ads or things like this, they have this standard operating procedures, and they just put in the work to benefit from the compound effect.
Yeah, perfect, Martin. That is so powerful, because I think a lot of people, they think, oh, right, I'll find the next hot topic and then I'll go find an audience. And I think what you've very carefully and cleverly said is, well, hold on, if you've built the audience whilst you're waiting for the next wave, the next hot topic, as soon as you see it coming on the horizon, you can be telling everyone then via email, via newsletter, via your content, you can be telling people, immediately, which means that you have that first mover advantage, and that you're informing your audience before anyone else jumps in and tries to take your audience. So, folks, always be building your audience, always be reaching out, making contact with people, because as Martin says, it might be that the people have an enormous email list, and you could potentially go to that person and say, hey, look, I've got a small email list. You've got a large email list, but I've got something here that I know you're not involved in, but your audience might like it. Am I okay to do something with you? And we do some sort of revenue share or some sort of quid pro quo or something like that, because we need to act really quickly on this. And a lot of people will go, well, if you want to do it, I'll quite happily open up my audience to you, and I'll take a share of all your hard work. What have you done? You've created, you've accessed an audience that you don't have. It's much bigger than yours. You've moved quickly, and you've made some great contacts, and you've leveraged a great relationship there. People do it all the time. So don't feel if you're starting, you've got to do this all on your own. Because Martin, from what you were saying, you kind of had your business partner in the software, you met with Mike and you bonded. You've described the sort of relationships with other people involved in this thing that have really, you've helped them, they've helped you. It's how it works, isn't it?
Exactly. And I also did a lot of work in vain for Groove or something like this. So, for example, when they just launched in the beginning, everything was like just they had not even a stack. So I went ahead and created a PowerPoint presentation doing a value stack, just outlining like how much each of the software is worth. So I did the first calculation that you saw on the website, like Groove replaces Kajabi and Kartra and ClickFunnels and Teachable and were Active Campaign or whatever. So I just created this, and then Donna told me like, hey, we're going to use this, and we even recorded a video, but it never made it live for whatever reason. So I was always looking for simple ways. Or when they just launched Groove, like the first homepage that they put up, like they were advertising that Groove Pages is so fast, but they put pictures on the homepage that were like 3 megabytes or something, like an insane size. So I went ahead, put this into into a free image optimizing program, like Kraken or whatever, and I sent the optimized images to Mike, and all these little gestures that really add up over time to nurture this relationship. So when I was asking for a JV webinar, like Mike had no choice but saying like, Martin did so many great things for us, like he has now a great product, like we just need to get him on this presentation. And this is my way. And obviously you cannot do this with everyone because it takes time, but this is also what makes it special. So you really need to pick the right people where you know that there's a huge chance, or there's the right fit. Or like me, even with the guy John, like we went ahead. Like I started a competing part, like my former business partner John, from Focus Me. Like I started a competing company, but now when I'm getting back to SEO, for example, I reached out to him. I offered him like, hey, I'm not using my old resources and lead magnets and book like from Find Focus. Would you like to have it for your company, because I do not need it anymore? And maybe in return he will allow me to get access to his audience some way. It might be beneficial. Or like when it comes to SEO, simply like, hey, maybe you can link to my website. Simple things like this. So it's like relationships built over time, and this is really about playing the long game. And I think a lot of people really underestimate the value of personal relationships. And one thing that I would like to stress is that there's a lot of excuses. Like, for example, like I'm living in Germany, I have a family here, I never met Mike in person, I never met anyone from the people that I interviewed on the summit in person, I never went to a physical mastermind meeting, which makes everything that I do a huge uphill battle. But I was able to pull all of this off, despite not not even being able to build a real relationship in person. And then when I wanted to get to the marketers cruise, like Mike's annual cruise event, like I was not able to go because of COVID when I finally had the funds and the time. So we still have not met in person.
Yeah, Martin, I think that's a lesson to us all, that if you choose to see an obstacle as a mountain, you won't climb over it. If you choose to see it as a molehill, you will step over it and keep going. And I think it's all about your perspective as to how you see these challenges. Some of the things that you were talking about there, though, I think again, you might need to replay this episode. You might need to go back and just sort of go, right, okay, because there's some really powerful things in there. There's a lot of reaching out and helping people for free. Yes, you can see a long-term benefit, but there's also the ability to go out there and say, right, okay, look, I think I see your skill set as being this. I think mine are slightly different. I think we would work well together. And if you are wanting to start your online business and you're thinking, well, I'm not very good with tech, then reach out to someone who is good at tech, because that person may not have the skills that you have. So when you talk about partnerships there, Martin, what you'll find is you complement each other. You enhance the other person and they enhance you. You grow together and you can do far more. So if you're thinking, I'm no good at doing this bit or that bit, have a look in the community, have a look, reach out to people, ask them, who do you know who could do this and work with me? Who do you know who could do that and would be willing to work with me? Because, folks, if you look wherever in life you want to have a look at, you will find that successful Olympians have a great coach, a great relationship with someone that's helping them. They're not on the running track, running alongside them. They're doing something else because they're good at something else. You're good at the running. They're good at telling you how to do it better. So get yourself out in the community and do that. Martin, you've obviously been heavily involved in the Groove community as well as lots of other communities as well. What would you say are the common sort of things that seem to hold people back from really getting going? You must have seen the same things crop up time and time again. What are they and how do you overcome them? What are your thoughts?
One thing is that there's just wrong expectations, like especially in the Groove community, especially when you're seeing like this really well refined webinars where you're seeing all these success stories presented as like it's so easy to get to six figures, or like so easy with this new strategy, with this new marketing hack, with this everything. It's not easy, and it's super competitive, and you have to stick with something long enough to really know the nuances nuances of the strategy. You need to make sure that you are working with the right people. And even when it comes with working for free, like there's a huge difference. Like you can have the exact same strategy. I remember I interviewed an SEO expert, and she had a background in the pharma industry, and then she did SEO for car dealerships like Ferrari dealerships and things like this. There you have much more leverage than if you're doing SEO for a hairdresser or local restaurant. So even though the strategy is essentially the same, like in one you have leverage, in the other you do not have leverage. So if you're working for free for someone, you really want to work with or have someone that already has a successful business, and this is where you will also be able like to have this huge success stories. Like one of my students, for example, that I feature, Elaine, who's also using Groove to build her, I do not know, 6 or 7 figure coaching business. Like she is a mind mapping expert, and when she joined my program, she used my software to attract more people, but she had everything going. And this is essentially the story that like how these fast success stories happen, because there's people who already have a really solid foundation. They have client results, they have success. Then you pure like a new strategy or new hack on top of this, and then they see success and like make a great success story of like she made I don't know 70,000 pounds at the time, $90,000 within like 4 weeks or something with my strategy. And then there's other people, like the majority, who are just getting started and they do not have this expertise. So it takes time to build this expertise, and this is why it's so important that you choose your success path to really have this compound effect kicking in. So if you go the affiliate route, there you typically you do not have a product advantage or something like this. There you want to have some kind of traffic advantage. Either you are an expert in pay-per-click marketing, which can be super expensive, but you can get leverage there, or you're really good at generating a lot of traffic via short form video, TikTok or whatever. Like you need to give it enough time, and so you build the expertise, you have the right foundation for the compound effect and the mastering of the nuances to happen.
Yeah, certainly the compounding effect. I think it was is it Warren Buffett that said compound, or was it Einstein? One of them said compound interest is sixth wonder of the world or eighth wonder of the world or something,
Yeah.
wasn't it?
I think it's attributed to Einstein. Yeah.
Yeah. And it is one of these things, folks. Do not look for the massive, I'm going to wake up today and have a 50% change in my business. You're going to have to accept that a lot of these steps are small steps. But it's only when you've taken a lot of those steps that you turn around, look over your shoulder, and you'll see how far you've come. But each of those individual steps, you didn't feel like you were moving very far at all. But it's only when you've done a lot of them that you realize quite how far you have gone. So taking that, Martin, you're involved now in helping people with strategies. And I know you've sort of, it's a combination of advertising, but without necessarily the huge paid for. We don't need $1 million budgets to do the ads. It's a strategy that a lot of people can get involved in. Give us an oversight. What is it, and what transformation can it achieve?
Essentially, like what I discovered when I did the Pareto Summit was that most of the so-called like I like to call it like racks to $10,000 per month success stories like this. I know this is what a lot of people aim for, like this magic 5 figures per month on a consistent basis, or like making $100,000 per year. They all happened on Facebook, and essentially they happened by just messaging people. Like one of the success stories that I always mention is how I was building my summit. Then I was talking to someone on Facebook who was also building a virtual summit, and he already recorded all his videos, and this was pre-COVID, so it was not as popular like virtual conferences and things like this back then. But he recorded already his interviews in advance, and he was looking for software. And then Groove was not around, so I recommended Katra. He signed up with my affiliate link. It was a very short conversation, like it fits on one PowerPoint slide. The Zoom call maybe lasted 30 minutes or something. And then he signed up with my affiliate link. And because it was a recurring subscription, the software was good, the product was good. When I went back in 2 years later, I noticed that I've made over $2,000 in pure profit from this 30-minute conversation. So, and he's still like, I'm still making, I do not know which plan he is, like $40 or $80 per month just from this one conversation each and every month. But you do not have this leverage with a one-time product. But on the other hand, like when Groove launched, I made a huge amount of money, like from people making the lifetime version or buying the lifetime version. So there's also a trade-off, and so it like you have to know your business model. And uh, these days, I think, and this is probably also the biggest thing that people get wrong, you also have to decide if you want to go really narrow or if you want to go broad, because the easiest way to make $10,000 is essentially to find one client who pays you $10,000 and then just do the whole like marketing or SEO strategy or whatever for you, or maybe find two or three who pay you a retainer of $2,500. And so typical agency work or coaching, consulting, things like this. And oftentimes, and this is the other story that I always tell, when I was like I would never launch a software company again, like Find Focus. Instead, what I would do when I was just getting started, I would essentially teach people or coach people on how to use the software. So just doing coaching, like, hey, essentially the product is where you can block certain internet sites or block yourself from checking your email. So you create deep work sessions, work in focus blocks of time, typical productivity stuff that we all know, but nobody does because we're getting distracted. We're like online marketers, we're checking our stats too often, things like this, instead of working on our sales copy or whatever, sending out the emails. And essentially just work with someone setting up the software and then charge $2,000 for a coaching program by just like being an accountability partner for someone like a CEO, someone who's managing like a couple of $1,000s in ad spend per day, something like this, helping them to become much more productive. Because if they get 2 extra hours of work each day, or maybe like 7 hours per week or whatever, and they value their time at $100 per hour, like that's a lot of savings for them. But at the same time, the strategy will not work if you're just trying to coach someone who's just starting out. There you need, if you want to teach people something like this, then you're competing with or the product in that market space maybe sell for $100 to $300, whereas internet marketing programs sell for $1,000 to $2,000, or in these days, like even like up to $3,000 via webinars. And then things like this. And then if you want to sell even more expensive products, then you need to have get on Zoom calls with people and really talk to them, so you can deal with their objections and everything in a much more personal way. So in the end, and I think that the biggest mistake people make is they obsess, and I think you mentioned this in the pre-call, they obsess about which logo should I use, or which website should I use, or which funnel should I use, or what should I build on, or what should I put on my website. And I remember a couple of success stories from the summit where there were funnel designers. They did not have a funnel. All they had was a Facebook page in their personal Facebook profile. They just used Facebook to talk to the right people and then build funnel for them, because there's no need for them to have a successful funnel. So one of the fastest ways to make money online is probably not going the affiliate route, It's more like offering services and then just get paid to build the expertise essentially. And for this, if you're using Groove, like all you would literally need is Groove Sell, and make sure that you actually can take credit cards and then offer something that people actually want, because oftentimes this is another mistake that I see people make. Sorry, here my son is just calling me, and he wants me to unlock his Switch so you can play to turn off the parental controls. So
Crucial.
I
That's
just
a
put him on
crucial
mute.
question.
So where was I? Yeah, like getting paid directly. And a lot of people, and this was something that I've learned from my Kinix, who said like a lot of people they hide behind the things that they put on the website, or they behind busy work, or like creating the perfect logo behind things because they're afraid to talk to people. But if you cannot sell a product in person, or like have a couple of people personally, then you will probably not be able to make like a funnel work, because you do not know what people actually think, and it's oftentimes they want something completely different, or are willing to pay for something completely different than what you think it is. So this is also one of the ways why I like my method so much, because it's based on messaging a lot of people and then getting direct feedback from them, which is super helpful in building the first minimum viable version of the product that you want to sell.
So, Martin, just go a bit deeper on that. So, give us an overview of your methodology, your system. What is it, and why should people sort of pay attention to it?
Okay, so it's really for everything that can be sold or that must be sold, ideally via a personal, talking to people, like so, high ticket products, coaching consultant, multi-level marketing, expensive software, things like this. And then it's really built around finding posts or Facebook groups where people self-identify, like if they for example, let's take a Groove AI for an example. So in this example, you would go to people who like a Jasper ad or Copy AI ad. And then you find that some of these ads have maybe 100 likes, or 200, or maybe a couple of thousand if they're running a successful ad for a long time. And then you message these people, you add them as a friend, you send them a personal message, and then you ask like, hey, would you like to save 90% on your Jasper subscription? And then they will ask like, how? And then you tell them about Groove AI, for example. Like this is very like an example that comes to mind. Or if you're going into where you know, for example, like into the ClickFunnels group, and this was what Angie Norris did in the beginning when groove.cm exploded. Like there were a lot of people paying $300 for monthly per month for ClickFunnels, and then Groove came along like, hey, you get the same that ClickFunnels offered for one lifetime price, and then you just had to tell people about the offer, and they made the switch to Groove. So and the same works now for other companies as well. Like a lot of people, like for example, one of the hottest companies right now is Go High Level, because they have this white label service, something that Groove will eventually have as well. And there's a lot of people switching from ClickFunnels to Go High Level with the same opportunity switch, because now they do not need to pay for ClickFunnels for each of their accounts. For each account, now they can sell their own service as a white label, so there's more leverage for people there. So this is one of the biggest competitors for Groove, or the way I see it, one of the biggest competitors for Groove is not ClickFunnels anymore. It's now Go High Level, and I'm pretty sure that the team and Mike Filsame is aware of this, and that he will transition Groove to be more like Go High Level instead of positioning it against ClickFunnels.
Yeah, I don't know your thoughts on this, but I always think if you've got a successful funnel and it is working, I see no problem, no issue with if you use two or three different lots of software, because the monthly charge, if you're earning $10,000 a month from a sales funnel, a $99 a month charge is really not going to be a deal breaker. And there's lots of things that you can use, complementary software. I know the purpose of the podcast is building your online business using Groove, and there's some things there that I think are fantastic. Some things need a bit of work, and as you say, if you're out there looking at the other products, if you're using the other products, then that gives you the ability to go back to Groove and say, hey, this is a feature that I didn't think much of, but I'm using it. It's brilliant. Can we develop it for Groove? And I know talking to
I think we're even going like in the complete wrong direction there. And this reminds me of a productivity video from Andy Jenkins, Mike Filsame's former business partner, who said back then, it does not really matter what which software you use. There's autoresponders. They're all pretty good at sending emails. Some are a little bit better, some are a little bit worse. But if you're really like, but what people forget is to actually sending the emails, writing the content, sending the emails,
yeah,
or like all the landing page builders. They all work. They put content that you can read on the internet, and it does not like it's like to me it's always a matter of which phone is best to use to close people or to sell my product via the phone. Is it like the more the newer model or the old one? But if I had a 20 or 50-year-old landline phone, I could still close sales over the phone. It does not really matter. And I think that's a lot what we are seeing with different sales funnel softwares and everything. They all able like to send emails, to put copy and images onto the web, and to bill people via PayPal and credit cards. So it does not really matter. And like one great metaphor I always like to use is like, imagine a musician. Like, even if you give a musician, like a master musician, an average guitar, or like even a crappy guitar, like he will still be able to perform really, really well. And you can have the best guitar in the world, if you never practice playing guitar, like your music will essentially suck. And no one, and it's more noise. So a lot of people underestimate what it takes to build the expertise. And especially with AI, I think it's even more important to pay attention to the fundamentals of marketing, and with all the strategies. And like the main things have not changed. And a lot of people, and you see a lot of like old school books behind me, like the marketing fundamentals. Human psychology has not changed that much. We are living in a world that we are not designed for, but the desires and everything is still the same. We are just using different vehicles. So I think it pays a lot to just focus on the fundamentals, and really trying to work with the right people and with the right business, with the right businesses, and focusing on the fundamentals, which where the software does not make a huge difference. It might make some difference if you're really leveraged and you're running, like if you're spending $10,000 per day on Facebook ads, then you want to have something custom, or like really make sure that everything is reliable. But it does not matter if you're just getting started. Then Groove is as good as any other software. And then it also, I think Groove had at some point like different paths, or also like different business ideas that you can build with Groove. And like it's different to build a passion project where you're really about like, hey, I want to help people, or if you're running like a serious online business which is more like transactional, and based on paid ads and things like this. Groove has the advantage of having a lifetime deal, and especially if you still have the have a job. It also takes a lot of pressure off your shoulders, not having like this $100, $200, $300 monthly charge, which on the one hand takes off pressure, on the other hand, it yeah, it might make you too lazy or to put things on off. But most people underestimate how long it takes to build something that's successful, that actually makes money, especially if you're not offering a service. If you're more trying to sell digital products, then it's really about yeah, building your customer base and your audience over time. And then the savings that Groove offers from the live deal are really worth it. But if you go into paid advertising really fast, or want to have super like need to have a super reliable system Groove is still developing, then it might be a better bet to yeah, choose Kartra or ClickFunnels or one of the established, or go high level or whatever, because there's just simply less bugs, because the platforms are more established and not developing as much.
Yeah, and Martin, I think I love the thing where you say, look, everything works. It's a bit like you talk about the books behind you. Well, if you think about this, folks, if you say, no, I'm going to wait until a new story comes out before I pick up a book and read it, you're going to miss out, because essentially that book will only reiterate what Shakespeare wrote about 400 or 500 years ago. And what Shakespeare wrote about, the medieval storytellers would have told stories about it. And they would have told the same stories that Homer in ancient Greece, you know, he was writing about the same things. Folks, what Martin's talking about here are the fundamentals of all these things. They're fine. They work. You can do the minimum viable product, your MVP. You can get it out there. But if you don't take those steps, and if you don't put something out there and work on the basis, I'm going to put this out there to completely fail, to be horrible, to be terrible, but you will get some feedback. And the feedback is telling you, okay, this didn't work, that didn't work. Okay, now I can do version 2 and try and improve on it. I can test A against B. I can refine it. I can see what the feedback is. If I'm getting nowhere, maybe I'm barking up the wrong tree. Maybe I'm doing something incorrect here. And this is where being part of a community where you can ask the questions, what am I doing wrong? What do you think of this? You're going to get feedback. Hey, if Mike Filsame can be out there having done this and built software companies, and then along comes Martin, he goes, Mike, I've got a few ideas that would help improve things. And Mike goes, that's absolutely fantastic. None of us are beyond getting some help. None of us.
One thing that I want to mention, and this is a framework that I also teach, which is really important. Or like there's two elements to this. Like you like oftentimes people know what they should be doing, and they just need someone to tell them again what they already know, and you just being there, being accountable, especially when it's some kind of coaching product or consultant product. They already know, they just need you there to cheer on them, to actually to motivate them to put in the work. And this is what this community always do. And this is why coaching and consultancy, and this is the second model that I teach, which is relate, repeat, results. So you oftentimes you need you need someone that you really relate to, even if you have two people telling you exactly the same things. If one is more similar to you, and this goes to influence and all the Robert Cialdini and effects, but the more you relate to someone, the more likely you're trusting them, and the more likely you are to take action on their advice. And this is why someone like Tony Robbins maybe is beside his expertise, but he's charging $1 million for a coaching session. Or I remember like one of Tony's coaches telling me, like when he worked with Jay Abraham, and he paid him $25,000, and essentially the everything that Jay Abraham told him, hey, fill out this questionnaire, and then by filling out this questionnaire, Tony's coach was able to really find the leverage points in his own business, which was a karate school or something like this. But it was essentially like he discovered his own leverage points, but he paid someone $25,000 to discover them. And it's really, oftentimes it's really this components of like you need to relate to someone who cheers on you, who holds you accountable, and then you put in the actions that get you the results. And if you're publishing more content, like more people will notice. If you message more people, like there's also a great story from Jim Rohn, like who said the easiest sales course in the world is just talk to more people. And he was able to tell it in a really funny way, because you will be surprised for the reasons that some people will buy from you. Some will buy from you because out of pity, because they say like, oh, Nigel is such a nice guy. Like I just want to buy from him because I support his vision, or like I really want to cheer on his enthusiasm, even though I do not care about his product or something like this. And so oftentimes it's and it's always also about like you cannot learn to ride a bicycle by reading a book. It's like you will much faster learn from real time, like from real world feedback. And this is why what I also love about the Ads Made Free strategy, and messaging a lot of people on scale, to find the few people that really interested in what you're doing, because you get real world feedback really fast. And again, this also, the more you do it and the more you put yourself out there, the more competent and confident you will also become, which will make people trust you more and relate to you more. So it's all an upward cycle, or like I do not know how to so
We
it's
would
an
call it,
upward
yeah,
spiral and personal development.
a virtuous circle. So it each step just continually improves the previous one. Yeah. Martin, I mean, I love that. Relate, repeat, results. I think that's so powerful. Folks, make a note of that. Write that one down. Relate, repeat, results. So often, the only thing that I think is stopping us is someone almost giving you permission to carry on, or giving you a pat on the back and saying, well done. Now go do it again. That was fun, wasn't it? It's like anything. You play a sport. I mean, I play golf. And just when you think I'm going to give this game up, you hit a great shot. And the person you're playing with says, there you go. I knew you could do it. Now you just need to go and do it again, sort of thing. And all of a sudden your enthusiasm is back. You've had a terrible
And
day.
I
You hit
still
one good
remember
shot
this.
and you're back. Yeah.
I for me it was still like this story, like in my last coaching call with Mike back in 2015 2016. It was really like that Mike, like my business failed, and then Mike just was there saying to me like, hey, I believe in you. If there's anything I can do for you, just let me know. And it was just like his belief in me that kept me going, even though I was going through a really dark period of my life back then, with my father dying, my relationship broke up, my company went broke, things like this. And it was just this belief that Mike put into me that kept me going, and was finally able, like for me, so I was able to build these 2 6-figure businesses, and I was able to pay him back. Like I sold over, like I do not know, almost $500,000 in Groove to this day. And obviously I got lots of affiliate commissions from them, but it was just this belief that also paid off for him really big in the long term after a couple of years. So and oftentimes it's really just this, like, I believe in you, that's all it takes. Because oftentimes, like, even my family or my wife or my mom, they say like, hey, you're not making money yet, maybe you should get a job, things like this. So having someone to cheer on you, or being part in a community, or some coaching program with weekly calls, or like even with my free weekly coaching calls that I'm doing inside my Facebook group, or like inside of I think I'm using Webinar Jam at the moment. So yeah, people can just go in there, build some kind of community, and get this sense of moving forward. Also, yeah, following me, because like I involved a lot in the last 2 years as well, learned a lot of things, nuances, and yeah, oftentimes people also enjoy just being part of the ride, or like even cheering on you if you made a lot of sales, even though they might be someone who invested in your program, but they're still cheering on you, and they're cheering on other people having results.
Yeah, imagine, folks. Imagine if you're feeling a bit down. Imagine that you are just a tiny glowing ember. Okay, that's you, a tiny glowing ember. You just need one fan, and that one fan is a person that believes in you, and that fan starts wafting a little bit, and they give you the oxygen to get going, and that ember just starts glowing hotter and hotter until you burst back into flames. It's amazing what one fan, one bit of encouragement can do for you. So Martin, you're talking there about some of the stuff you're doing for people, helping people out. If people wanted to find out more, or to experience a bit more of what you do, where would you direct them? Where would you send them?
So my new brand, or my current brand, is called Ads Made Free. That's adsmadefree.com. This is the current brand that I'm building. There's also a Facebook group that goes along with this, and I'm also running still a Facebook group which is all about Groove Funnels, which is the biggest active Groove Funnels group on Facebook, where there's like the official one. It's heavily moderated. Not all questions are you're not able to ask support questions, or some support questions or issues there.
Yeah,
So I still have
Martin,
this.
I have been told off so many times for some of the things that I've tried to post to help people. I keep
So
getting my
I
knuckles wrapped.
created this group, like I like with two reasons. One is knowing on what's going on with Groove, but I also right now I also have weekly posts where people can promote their own Groove related businesses, or ask for help, anything. There's David Lemon is inside there, Kevin Stride is inside there, lots of people who actively use Groove. So I put a lot of effort into this group lately to get this a lot more active, and I'm always using this as a case study for for my free Facebook stuff. So when you enter, like, your email will get put automatically into my email autoresponder, and I'm sending you a personal message. So if you want to have direct contact with me, like when you join the group, fill out the questions, or like even if you do not fill out the questions, you will get a personal message from me, and then we can continue the conversation there.
Martin, what's the Facebook group again?
It's Facebook/groups/Groove Funnels. So it's
Groove Funnels. There we go. All right. Fantastic. Fantastic. Martin, just finally, before, because I'm conscious of time, I've taken up a lot of your time here. Very grateful. There's some absolute pearls of wisdom in here for anyone wanting to start. But in terms of words of encouragement for someone who has invested in Groove or another software, what would be the one thing that you would say, you've got to keep coming back to keep yourself motivated, to get yourself out there, to do it? What's the one piece of advice that your experience has said really works?
This really reminds me of, I think it was Brian Tracy who said this: try harder and no more, and try harder. So it's really about like a continuous process, and then just try to build standard processes to really get yourself out there. Focus on the business model that resonates with you. Like, also trust your gut. Do not follow a shiny object because it's hot right now. There's lots of success stories where people really built the expertise over time, and then over time had the compound effect take in. So if you're more passion driven, you just be prepared for a longer time. Building your audience slower, that's okay. Maybe it might mean that you have to continue working your job and treat this as a side hustle. Otherwise, it's get around people that I think in the end it's really try harder and no more, don't give up. It's really a lot about perseverance and not being stubborn, but really to persevere and not give up. Like I've been on this journey very long, and all the people that I've interviewed, they all had their ups and downs and many downs. And when I talk to really successful entrepreneurs, they often tell you, and I say like, yeah, you're doing a lot of things right. They all tell me, oh, there's a lot of things that went wrong along the way, and it's just not as popular to talk about this, but this happens to everyone. So it's really a lot about just trying harder. And then I also remember Alex Hamosi, like who shared one of his growth, like he had huge organic growth, and he said he had a great story when he was just launching his gym business, and he said he got advice from a mentor who told him to distribute flyers, and then Alex Amosi took this advice. He printed flyers. He distributed 300 flyers. Did not get a lot of results from this, and then he a couple of weeks later, his mentor asked him, "Hey, how did the flyer thing go?" And then Alex told him, "Yeah, I tried this. We distributed them. We did not get as much results." And then the mentor told him, like, "Yeah, what was your project size?" And then he said like 300 flyers. And then the mentor said, "Oh, we are doing, our test kit is typically 5,000 flyers, and then we do 5,000 flyers per day." So it also volume matters a lot, and the amount of content and the amount of things that you do matter a lot. Well, it's it's competitive, and you probably also need to work much more than you think, or at least than the webinars and the ideal case studies suggest. And this is part of like everyone who's successful, like Alex Hamosi. Oftentimes it's a matter of just doing more of what you do until you really get the results, because oftentimes you need to give much more. And yeah but it's still worth it this way. So it's really moving the free line, and you need to give 3 times 10 times as much value. But even if you get 1/10 back, it's still worth it, and it's still the foundation of many multi-million dollar businesses, especially in the online marketing world. So it's really about just doing more. And this is why I'm so excited about AI and my strategy, because it allows you to or like Groove and automations in general, because it allows you to be just much more efficient and do more in less time, so we can keep up with things. And one thing that really I remember, like with the AI stuff now, was one thing that Mike told me, that he, for the last for the launch of Groove AI, that he built all the marketing campaigns for him, even though he had the team, because he liked AI so much. He was like getting so much done using these new tools. So this is definitely something to pay attention to really optimize your work process, and being able to try harder in a much more efficient way.
There you go, folks. So you heard it here. You've got to get out there and do it. You've got to do more of it, and you've got to keep going, and then do more of it, and don't give up, and do more of it. Even when you think you've done more than enough, do some more, because I think that's the common thread. The common theme is that successful people, you don't see them sitting down all day doing nothing. You see them getting up, getting out there, whether it's a conversation with someone, whether it's a bit of networking, whether it's a bit of research, whether it's a bit of strategy, thinking. They are always doing something towards expanding what they do, who they share it with, how big their audience is, and there's valuable lessons there, Martin. Thank you ever so much for those. Just before we go, do you have a favorite book and a favorite app that people may have read, may not, may think, oh, I could do with reading that again, or an app that you think, or a bit of software that you think, this is a real game changer? Is there anything that springs to mind on that?
Yeah, sure. Like one is the software of my former business partner called Focus Me, because one other thing that I wanted to mention was like to be successful, like really cut down your consumption, and you need to turn yourself from a consumer into a creator or into a producer, or like a catchy phrases, it's not the one who's reading the email that makes the money, it's the one who sends the email. And so Focus Me helps you to really block out the internet, just open Word or like your AI tool or whatever you're using, or just Groove, or whatever your software is. And then another one that goes along with this that works really well is focusmate.com, focusmate, which is essentially virtual co-working. So especially if you are which allows you to schedule a virtual co-working session with one partner, like randomly, and it just helps you to say like, hey, this is what I want to get done in the next 50 minutes, and let's work on this. And then basically both of you let your webcam on, put yourself on silent, and then you work for 50 minutes. And it's amazing what you get done, just because some random stranger sitting somewhere in some random part of the world, and then you get work done. And these are like two of my favorite tools for getting more productive, because in the end it's like you have to put the work in, but it also matters like the quality of your work. And I'm because of my Find Focus background, I really like Deep Work, which is one of the books that I recommend. It's Deep Work. And the other one that I really like is the Naval Almanac from Naval Ravikant. It's free somewhere on the internet. Like the book is free in e-version, and I do not know, like the paperback costs a couple of dollars. But this Deep Work and Naval Almanac, these are typically two of the books that I highly recommend.
Excellent, Martin. Fantastic stuff. I think, yeah, there's definitely an episode, folks, where you're probably going to have to go back and, listen again to absorb everything, because there was such a lot in there. Fantastic stuff, Martin. You're doing an amazing job out there helping all the people that are working with you and that are part of your community. Fantastic stuff. I know, like me, you love Groove and you want it to get as good as it ever can. And I think there's an element there where we owe it to Groove, to ourselves, to be part of the community, partake, use it, get your hands dirty, point out where things, could be tweaked or improved, feed that back. We all need feedback. Get out there, and then, you should be on the podcast next, folks, dear listener, as you emulate Martin and all the success that he's had. It's not going to be easy, but as he says, couple of things: relate, repeat, results, and get out there and do more of it. So, Martin, any final words for everyone?
No, that's basically it. It's just like remember, like the one who's sending the email, the one who's posting the content, these are the people who are building the audience. So really get yourself out there, just post. And in the beginning, the great thing, not many people know about you, so not many people will see if your content is not super optimized, because you will improve a lot along the way just from doing it, and just sticking to the routine. And one thing that I've learned from John Lee Dumas was just like simply put in the reps, the repetitions, and then you will learn from experience, you will get better. So it's real. That's, if you want to have the secrets to success, that's oftentimes the only secret there is. And then obviously, follow the podcast here, learn about new tools, but there is no magic bullet, other than there's some success blueprints out there. Let's put it like this: they all work, but they all require you to put in the work. So in this case, there's there's proven blueprints, but they still require you to put in the work.
Martin, thank you ever so much for being here on the Build Your Online Business Using Groove with me, your host, Nigel T. Best. So it's bye from me, and it's bye from Martin.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you everyone for listening, and enjoy the other episodes on the podcast.
Thank you. Bye, folks.